I'm Morgan Beller, and I'm a general partner at NFX and lead our Web3 investing. I spend all day of most days speaking to founders and have learned that Web3 founders are unique in a variety of ways. And today we're here to talk about how and why. Web3 founders have to be systems thinkers. In Web 2, there was this concept of move fast and break things. In Web 3, although that happens sometimes, founders have to be more deliberate with the design from the onset, because once a protocol is launched, it's much harder to put sugar in the cake once it's baked. When I was at Libra, I tried to think of analogies for the team of past products and companies that have been built for what we were trying to do. And although this sounds crazy, after speaking to a lot of people, I actually thought that a comparison to launching a protocol is launching a rocket. A bit different in that there aren't, human lives on the vehicle at stake, but to the point of you have this very complex system with a lot of parts and you have one opportunity to launch it and there's no going back. So to that end, Web3 entrepreneurs need to be able to think of the whole system from the beginning, because once you launch it, there's money on the line, it's decentralized, it's open source, and it's a lot harder to iterate in small steps. Web3 founders have to be community first. As a Web2 founder, you have to be a leader. As a Web3 founder, you have to be a leader, but you also have to be an external leader, kind of from day zero, because your customers, your users are in your Discord, they're on your Twitter, they're talking to you all day. And as a Web2 founder, you are always incorporating the feedback of your users, but it's more from behind a screen. Your users might just be numbers, you might just be looking at charts. Whereas in Web3, your users are talking to you, they are voicing their opinions, and they're really seeing themselves as almost part of the team because they're incentivized directly for your product to benefit them. Web3 founders have to be more democratic in their leadership style. Whereas Web 2, you had monarchs, effectively, many benevolent, who can make decisions for millions, tens of millions, billions of users by sending an email. In Web 3, given the nature, as discussed, of being open source, decentralized, distributed, these DAO structures, you need your community to vote on changes that you want to make. So in Web 3, as a founder, you're really building a democracy instead of a hierarchy. Web3 founders get that they need to be pie makers, not takers. In the early days of the internet, there was this concept of your margin is my opportunity, which Amazon capitalized better than anyone. In Web3, Chris Dixon and others have said that your take rate is my opportunity, realizing that Web2 companies aren't necessarily aligned with their users for growth. In Web3, founders understand that to win, it's to align all parties involved, to be incentivized for the pie of your product and protocol to be as big as possible. Web3 founders are uniquely good at unlearning and parsing out what are principles that have been taken as gospel that are no longer relevant and what are common denominators that still are relevant. Part of what we believe is that there are certain common denominators that still apply to Web3. For example, network effects. Network effects, important in Web 2, arguably more important in Web 3. But at the same time, there are mental models that do need to be thrown away. I believe Web3 founders are good at understanding what still applies from Web 2 and what is completely net new. Great founders are great founders. However, after speaking to hundreds of Web3 founders, I believe that there are these unique properties of the really, really best-in-class Web3 founders, some of which we just discussed. If any of those properties speak to you, I'm Morgan at nfx.com. Please email me. I'd love to work with you.